Appreciate those videos you sent over, man. It's like I look at who else is out there, what they're doing. We're gonna finish out 2020. I know you are, man. I know you're juggling work, life, it all. I'm doing that myself, man. It's been an interesting go this year, as we all have. JJ15, welcome back in. Duke, welcome to the community, to the club. Um, how you doing, Martina? Brian, welcome in. Any advice for my son? He is trying to go pro. James, excellent. Would love to. Joel, welcome in. Gabe, good to see you. Jedediah Gabriel. Got to respect the Gabes in the community. Welcome all. So tips to go pro. Number one, I got, Cam Newton's back. Gotta love that. Always welcome back in. Don't know, what age group, James, your son is in. Tips there would be, if he is in high school, diversify his talent. If he is in college looking to go pro, become an expert, niche down, find that 1, 2, 3 things that you're trying to be the best at and known for. Other than that, it is avoid injury, avoid mistakes, and really just bust your butt. It's tough, but trying to be professional, I would say aim for learning from the game and just continue to take from it. So appreciate. Good to see everyone today. Man, I gotta be honest with y'all. Like, I think this Hawkman J is back in action. I think it's the lull in kind of just the world. There's just a lot, I launched out this year as an entrepreneur, starting my business, starting a passion. It is catching fire. It's all going in the right direction. It's exciting. And at the same time, man, it is so hard to be. I knew as an entrepreneur you were going to be on your own, but not having teammates, man, it living in a locker room. I went and worked in a company for 5 years. It is a really weird thing. This is right now the most interaction I get. Washington's still shut down. We're not allowed to leave our house, so we're allowed to leave the house, but not much is out there. Hey, man, so I'm a freshman out of high school and have big dreams of making it big in football one day. Tween, Hype House. First off, always get hyped up, like the Hype House. Second, tween. I was a tween all my career, in between different positions, so appreciate it. Welcome in. What questions you got for me, tween? Let's hear it. Fat Boy 60, what's good? Mr. 007. Such a strong game from back in the day. Like, I don't even think you can play GoldenEye from like back on like N64, but that was legit. We'll see. Welcome back. During your NFL tenure, who was the biggest first guy in, last guy out at the gym? Arm days, Lance Moore, wide receiver down in New Orleans. He loved getting his biceps in. One of the few guys who got biceps in like day of night games and day before most games. Not a shocking answer. Drew Brees, that dude, quote, I love getting to work before the sun gets up, makes me feel productive. I was a breakfast clubber. I was a 5 a.m. guy. In 2 of my 4 years down in New Orleans, one of the other tight ends, his name was David Thomas. Not that David Thomas, though I always had a sneaking suspicion they were related. Why? Because David Thomas doesn't cut corners. That's why he makes his burgers square. You can use that. It's one of the corny dad jokes. Why doesn't David Thomas why does David Thomas have square patties? Because he doesn't cut corners. But David Thomas and I, we were Breakfast Club brothers. We would get in early. We had our same routine each day of the week, and it was neat to have somebody. And that's part of it is, if you want to be a gym rat, if you want to be the person getting in early, find an accountability partner. It will change the game, change your life. We'll see. So I would go with David Thomas. He was a guy who was always working. Mike Anderson, what's going on, man? So I've been knee deep in the money vehicle this week. Usually I'm working on the business. This week I got to work in the business. It was kind of a difference. Built out a facilitator's guide for teachers and professors to use. Ended up being about 50 pages, finishing that up. So that's been my big project over the holidays. Rit Rat, go Cougs, Yahtzee, you know it. What was it like being in the NFL? A-Dog 122, being in the NFL, you are humbled because obviously it's a childhood dream. It's one that very few get to experience. I got cut so much that I really salivated. I really tasted and enjoyed what the experience was about. So being in the NFL is an honor because you are amongst the best in the world at your chosen profession, being football. So it was a really, really neat offering to be able to look around a room and say, these are the best in the world at what they do. What can I learn from them? On the field, off the field, in life, everywhere. So it was just truly a humbling experience. Great question. If you want to go pro, buddy, you're going to have to be 6'3" and run a 4.3. Well, I'm only 6'1.5", and I ran a 5 flat. So that's not necessarily true. That does help, though. So I appreciate that comment. And I used to be 6'2". In my basketball days, I was 6'3", but you all know how fake those are. My parents won't let me play. Tween, any advice? I didn't play tackle football till high school. My parents, same way, we were a basketball family. So no rush. You can wait, learn the game, play flag, enjoy it. But at the end of the day, football is a violent game. If it's not for everybody. That's why the people who step between those white hashes, they get a little bit of respect. Cheesy Mac, appreciate you. Thank you for the video shout out. We try to get jabs. We say football, finance, football. Those are the two spots I want to live in. TikTok doesn't like it so much. They don't like you bouncing back and forth. They want you to niche. They want just football or just money. But I want to be one of those people who do a little bit of both. Oh, snap. MW Jingle coming in international. Yahtzee. I'm big in Europe now. Now that MW Jingle's on it, spreading the message, sharing the love. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, Cheesy Mac, exactly. I don't know if you saw this, but my parents won't let me play football. Any advice? So, Tween, I did see it. Obviously, respect your parents in your decision. But if it's your passion, if it's your love, it is a game. Everything in life, investing has a risk reward. We talked about that the other day. Football has a risk reward. But it is personally one I think is worth taking. I ask about mayo. Do you like mayonnaise? I feel like I'm walking into a trap here. And honestly, no. The only time I eat mayo is if it has sriracha. And sometimes I put that on salmon or some other things. But no, I don't usually eat mayonnaise. I think Taylor Heineckel will start for Washington on the 3rd. Oh, Heineck. For what? Yeah. Is it the 3rd? Wow, that's weird to see next year. Yeah, man. I still don't know exactly what happened with Haskins. All I got to say is, young man needs to grow up. He had an opportunity in front of him. Whatever it was his fault. That's the truth. The NFL doesn't make money, or they don't, it's push out individuals. It's you. If you mess it up, it's on you. Getting friends to lift with is the biggest thing. Got me committed to lifting. We'll see. Love it. I just challenged 2 guys in my neighborhood, because that's the only people I see anymore, to a challenge. 50 or 500 push-ups a week for all of 2021. We'll end up doing over 26,000 push-ups. So if you want to take that challenge, we'll see. I'll be checking in live. We can hold ourselves accountable on that one. Easy one to track. 500 a week. Cheesy Mac Burger, the National Fur Lovers. Not sure. My cousin is 6'4", 245, runs a 4.5 40 dash, but can't play because he got arrested. Snap, Cam Newton. That's tough. Also, don't mistake natural gifts. 6'4", 245, runs a 4.5 with being able to play, with athleticism. There are great athletes that are not athletic. So there is a confusion there. But Obviously, again, it helps. I love it. I ask Bamayo, what's up, cheesy bag? This guy actually played in the NFL. But mayonnaise, guys, he wants to talk about mayonnaise. Do you think the Browns will make the playoffs? If they win this week, they're in, right? Isn't that how it's splicing out? I mean, you see that Baker is not a guy that's easy to like, but I don't want to hate him either. So I hope to make the playoffs. It would be good for Cleveland. Are they going to win in the playoffs? No. I think Drew Brees is overrated. I'm a big Brady guy. Well, Mike Anderson, Tom Brady is obviously the best of all time. So if that's who you're comparing him to, he's pretty damn good. And Drew will go down as no doubt one of the top 10 quarterbacks to ever play the game. Mr. LeBron leg cramp, welcome back. Who dat 512? Silly bands that make them dance. Appreciate. Do you ever meet Tom Brady or Peyton Manning? Met them both. Talked to them both. Not real whole lot of interaction with either of them. But yeah, you get to. My name is Howard Stern. The real one? I'm 41 and would like to be an NFL player. Let's see. So you think there'll ever be a franchise here in the UK? A few years ago, I would have leaned towards yes, absolutely. And I'm still going to confidently say, MW Jingle, that there will be a franchise in over the pond. I also think there will probably be one in like Mexico, because the game has to expand. That's how we continue to adapt and evolve. And you want interest. You want to gain nations. That's why basketball is international. That's why football, soccer is so great. So I think the NFL, the people running it, are extremely, extremely bright. And I think they see my man Elliot Reese joined the club. Elliot, certified ambassador, big supporter and helper, and has built out Money Vehicle with me. So welcome in, Elliot. So yeah, I think there will be a franchise in England eventually. I got to play possibly one of the craziest games I played in the NFL was with the Detroit Lions. We played the Atlanta Falcons in London, and we each stayed like an hour outside of like downtown London. We stayed at like a really nice resort kind of spa type thing. It was where the national rugby team goes and trains and works out. So we got to use their facilities, and we got a night or two off. We actually had a really enjoyable time, and everybody said the Falcons were really tight-laced, knotted up, didn't have any fun on their trip, and we were having a pretty good time. Then game time comes. First half, we're down 21-0, and everybody's like, oh, snap, apparently we should have been a little bit more locked in. Craziest second half I've maybe been a part of. Awesome experience. Came back 21 down, win the game, field goal at the end, get on the long flight home with nothing but smiles and beers. It was awesome. KC, how many concussions do you know you have? That's a good distinguisher, because there are probably a lot that I do not know that I have. I had about 4 documented, 1 in college, 1 in high school, maybe 2 in college. That's not a good sign. No. I've had about 4 documented, and then countless others. Have you seen Cam Newton's daily schedule where he goes to bed at 11 and wakes up at 4? No, John Kim, but that right there is like, I respect the grind, I respect the hustle, but that's also not good for you. Your body needs sleep. This whole thing of like, I function on 5 hours. It just isn't physically possible. And I'm the first one to admit it, because I have some days where I go to bed at 11 and wake up at 5, and you have a few of those in a row, and it's like, I need to go to bed an hour earlier. So no, I have not seen that. What team did you go to when you got in the NFL? A-Dog. I played on 12 teams, got cut from all of them. Who was the toughest player to block? All of them. I mean, they're all fast, they're all strong, they're all angry. For me, it was probably Cam Chancellor. Okay. We got fingers crossed. We love it here. How much health insurance should the average person buy? So the average person usually gets it through their company. And I don't know what you mean by how much should they buy exactly. You have your premiums, you have your deductibles. You can self-insure by raising the deductible and lowering your premium. I really like that, especially for younger people who um, believe that they're not going to use it as much. Um, so, do you use a bank or a credit union? Great question. Meme Central, welcome back. Mason, hello. So good question. Do you use a bank or a credit union? I use both. So personally, in my personal accounts, I use a bank, Bank of America. Oddly enough, I opened that, and in Cleveland, where they have Bank of America Stadium, there's not a Bank of American ATM in the general vicinity. Kind of a strange little sequence there, but goes you for naming rights and branding. Welcome in, Teist and Hot Guy and Skyle Miller. Hot Guy, shoot. Manny Ramirez, the Manny Ramirez just joined, guys. This is truly an honor. So I use a Bank of America and then for business. Again, once you open a business, you have to have, you start to look at RK, welcome in. J. Patrick, welcome in. You start to look at how am I going to track expenses? How am I going to track income? And so then I went to a credit union here up in the Northwest called BECU. They're a big sponsor of my Cougs, so I thought I would support them back. And so I do have two accounts. One personal account where I look at my wife and I say, what did you just spend $500 on? And one business account where I get to run all my expenses, very easy to track, very easy to manage. And then as well as income just flows into there at the end of the year. Booyah, booyah. Systematic time. Welcome in, one and all. We're about to start talking taxes here in one moment. How's it going? Ursher. So I keep missing your lives. No worries. We're just getting started. 18 minutes in. And cannot roll my 401k. Changing jobs and cannot roll my 401k. First question. Damon Begley. Why can't you roll your 401k? Usually companies will force you out of their 401k plan because they have to pay sometimes per head or per account or per account size. And so usually smaller accounts, they want off the books. So interesting that you're saying you cannot roll your 401k. I believe you should be able to roll it into an IRA. You have about 60 days to roll it over without having any taxable event. And so you take your old 401k, put it into an IRA, and then get it reinvested. If for some reason you cannot roll it out of your old 401k, which again, I don't understand why, you would look at it and say, what is an investment profile that I'm comfortable having for a long time? Because chances are you're not going to be logging back into this one and updating it and changing. So you should look at something called a target date fund, which just says, I'm going to pick a year I want to technically retire, and it will change my allocation based on that time horizon. So it will get more conservative as I get closer to that date. A lot of 401ks have these kinds of portfolio management system and tools. They're usually pretty low in fees because they use indexing and index funds. You do have to pay a little bit for the service, but that would be a great one to say, hey, I don't know if I'm going to get back in and touch this 401k. That's good advice. I'm sorry that you got cut from 12 teams. That must have been hard for you, man. Hey, dog, getting cut was extremely painful because it was my dream come crashing down every time. But I will say this, after I achieved my NFL dream, after I lived the journey, I wouldn't have it any other way. I truly am fortunate to have been cut because I got to go to multiple teams. I got to test my skills. I got to see why I was failing, and it allowed me to become the best in the world at what I did. I became the #1 ranked fullback. I would not have done that if I would have just made it first go, but I learned from other fullbacks. I learned from other teams, and I stole from greatness. So yes, failing sucks, but it can be the beginning. It can be a growing mindset. And that is why, like, I look at it and said, bring it on. Your skin thickens and your mindset thickens. And so, yeah, at first it looks like a tough pill to swallow, but in the end, you only decide when you go home. My 5th favorite team is the Saints. They're in the top 10. That's pretty cool. Why would you use Bank of America? Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then let's get to the subject of the day. Credit union for the win. Where'd it go? Huh. Cutting builds character. James Lemon, couldn't agree with you more. I missed a comment about why you are so fortunate to experience so many dimensions of the NFL. Not just dimensions, veterans, coaches. I really enjoyed seeing different head coaches, how they interacted. Ursher getting some love for LeBron's. Agreed as well. I love my credit union. Yes, building a relationship with the credit union is really cool. Damian, thank you. Welcome it. Appreciate it. Hey, Robert Smith, appreciate you sharing the live. That's awesome. Robert Smith, welcome. Appreciate Cody Maybabe, Jeffrey, Caleb, welcome in. Caleb McMurphy. Yeah, JJ15. So yes, credit unions. So I've had a Bank of America account since I was probably 18 years old. So that's why I've had one there. Should I change? Perhaps. But as I look at it, I now am leaning more and more to that credit union, to BECU, because they give me some more perks and advantages. So there is something to be said about finding an institution you want to support and leaning in. Manav, Roth accounts. I love it. Do you think starting with $500 in a TA good starting amount? I think starting is right. So if you have $500, start with $500. Go get one share, go get something. There's enough apps out there in technology that will allow you to buy micro shares and allow you to get really interesting with 500. So yes, if you start, here's my challenge to you. If you could do 500 a month, if you can do 500 a quarter, look at what that's going to pay out over a long-term time horizon. That's the game we're playing with. Credit unions for the win. Love it. Roll into an IRA. Yeah, Damian, I think that's the play there. New job won't allow. So this is where you're mistaken. So you have a 401k. You will roll into an IRA, which is an individual retirement account. Then you will probably be opening a new 401k at the new job. So as you look at that transaction, now you will have two retirement accounts. You will have an IRA and you will have a 401k at your new company. The IRA has nothing to do with the old or the new company. It will just have the dollars in there. Perhaps down the road, you can look at converting into a Roth account, which would be a really good move for you. Knowledge is power. Glad I'm here. Adrian G. That's it. That is exactly what we're doing here. Hang in tight. We're about to go over some pretty important stuff here in a second. Difference is bank is for profit and credit union is non-for-profit. Exactly. So we as the shareholders, or a bank has shareholders, credit unions are owned by their members. So there's definitely some advantages. Good call out, JJ15. Man, this is cool. It's like every couple. All right. Who is your favorite, your NFL support team, parents, agent? Who was on your, oh man. I mean, truly, like my brothers talked me into keep pursuing the dream after getting cut so many times because they had real jobs and they're like, hey, this ain't all it's cracked up to be. My wife, she was my fiance or girlfriend at the start, but became my wife. Couldn't have done it without her. And then actually not my college coach, my high school coach was a huge support. Bob Johnson, loved it. JC, appreciate you, John Kim. So you were happy being cut. Would you have liked it more if you played for one team in your career? So I got to play in New Orleans for 4 years, so I got to be there for a little while. I wasn't happy being cut, but I learned from being cut. There's a difference. I turned a negative into a positive. I actually have a whole series of rookie to veteran principles that I took from all those people I met on my cut tree. So no, not happy at all. I was failing, but I turned failure into a great asset, a great tool that I am extremely proud of. Failure's great, accept it because it gives you clarity and you're one step closer to success. Strong, John Kim. All right. So today we are talking about, and we are going to have our winners of the day on our last piece of advice around taxes. Today we are actually going to look at how the progressive tax code works, and you're going to get a very easy analogy as money vehicle. That's what we do, is easy analogies to understand around what it is like to have the progressive tax code. So as we look at it, I want to clear something up because this is often a misunderstanding. When you get hired, you have a W-4. That W-4 is a message from you to your employer about how much taxes you want actually withheld from your paycheck. The United States government actually just redid the W-4, simplifying it and seeing that a lot of people are getting these big tax refunds, and everybody gets all excited in April and May. Did you see my tax refund? It was massive. What people don't understand is that that is not what you want. That's not even what the government wants. They want you to look at about how much you think you're going to owe in taxes. And why they redid the W-4 is to simplify it. Now it is very easy. It's what's your name and filing status. Am I single? Am I married? Am I married filing separately? Very clear. Then you look at what do you have other jobs? Does your spouse work? Do you have other sources of income? That's really what that one's questioning. Then you look at dependents. Do you have kids? Do you have non-kid dependents? And then the last one is just, well, what other income do you have? Do you have rentals? Do you have investments? Or are you going to itemize? Because that impacts it as opposed to the standard deduction. But those are the questions on the new W-4. And that's telling your company how much you want withheld to prevent these big tax returns or big tax liabilities. So that's part one. Then at the end of the year, you get a W-2 from your company. Or if you are an independent contractor, you filled out a W-9 and you get a 1099. All taxable events filter up into the overarching 1040. If you guys are interested, I would love to set up a piece and just walk through the 1040 because it feels so complex, but at the end of the day, it is very clear and very specific where all these numbers are coming from and how they are calculated. Again, CPAs are very bright people, but they are no smarter than you or I. I hate to break that. Okay. So as we look at it, we understand W-4, I send to my company saying how much to withhold. W-2, 1099s are documents I am getting about how much was actually withheld, and it all flows into the 1040. That's not the lesson for today. Today, we wanted to start talking about the progressive income tax code. And so what I want you to see is if you walked into my ice cream parlor, and this is going to be a terrible ice cream scoop, but as you look at it, that's one scoop of ice cream, and I'm going to charge 25 cents for that first scoop of ice cream. So you walked into my ice cream parlor, you said, Jed, I want one scoop of ice cream. Let's say it was Charles Chevalier. Charles said, I want one scoop of ice cream. Love to see some comments on your favorite scoops of ice cream. If any of you say vanilla, I don't think we can be friends. Sorry, that's just kind of the kind of person I am. So then let's say JJ15. She walks in and says, I don't want one scoop of ice cream. You know what the only thing better than one scoop of ice cream is? 3 scoops of ice cream. So she walks in and says, I want 1. Let's do colors so you can see it. 2. Let me get one more color. And 3 scoops of ice cream, right? So first person came in, got 1 scoop of ice cream, 25 cents. JJ15 came in and said, well, I want 3 scoops of ice cream. So how am I going to charge her? Well, for this first scoop, I'm going to charge her the same 25 cents. The second scoop, I'm going to charge her 50 cents. In this third scoop, I'm going to charge her $1. Do you see this? So on the first scoop, we got charged the same amount. We both got charged a quarter. That second scoop, we got charged 50 cents. And that third scoop, because she is fortunate enough to get 3 scoops, I'm going to charge her $1 for that third scoop. Looking at this, some people are going to say, oh, well, that's not how to blah, blah, blah. You're missing the point. So the point is, this is exactly how our United States income tax code works. Did you see that coming? I didn't think you did. This is exactly how the United States Progressive Income Tax Code actually works. Why do I get to say that? Well, take away ice cream scoops for a second and start to look at this as tax brackets. What does that say? Well, that says on your first scoop of ice cream, let's use round numbers. These are not the official tax brackets, but on your first scoop of ice cream, let's call it $10,000. We're going to charge you 10%. On the next scoop of ice cream, which is 10,000 to 100,000, we're going to charge you 20%. And we're going to go up from there. Anything above 100,000, 100,000 plus, we're going to charge you 30%. So these scoops, this analogy of visualizing, okay, if I'm going to be charged a quarter for my first scoop, so is this person over here, and they only got one scoop. The question becomes, why would you actually charge this way? The objective of this system is to charge everyone the same amount for the same amount of scoops. So if somebody walked in and said, I want 2 scoops, well, I know I'm going to charge them a quarter, and then I'm going to charge them 50 cents. I already know how it is going to grow, and it's going to be progressive, because that way everybody is charged the same amount of money for that same amount of income. This is a concept that I cannot drive home more. Why? Because I talk to people every year who say something in the terms of, well, I don't want to get more money, because if I get more money, then I'm going to end up getting charged more for all of my monies. And they have a misunderstanding of how the Progressive Income Tax Code works. They don't see it and see it as lining up your dollars, put them one by one in a line. And if you make more money, those dollars go at the end of the line. But they do not impact the rest of the line. So if you walked in and said, hey, I want to get a second scoop, I'm not going to charge you more on this first scoop. I'm just going to charge you more on that second scoop. And if JJ or John Kim or whoever walked in and said, well, I want 3 scoops, I want a 4 scoop, I'm going to charge you a little bit more for that 4 scoop, but it doesn't have anything to do with your first, second, or third scoop of ice cream. I need you to visualize this, because salespeople get this wrong each year. They're like, oh, well, if I get my bonus in December, I'm actually going to bump into a higher tax bracket and lose more money on all my monies. No. Only the money in that tax bracket will be charged more. And so this brings up another interesting piece. The difference between marginal and effective tax rate. This isn't even something I really need you to understand, but if you see this analogy, again, I love telling stories about teaching people how to understand money. You will understand marginal versus effective tax rate in 30 seconds. So if you just joined, stay with me for 30 seconds, and you're going to learn something today, and you're going to get to tell somebody, hey, I bet you don't know what the difference between marginal and effective tax rate is. Here we go. So, again, I love stories. Imagine if I told you we were getting up in the morning, we were going to go work out. We were going to do 5 sets of 10, right? And as you do with weights, we're going to do the first set at 100, second set at 110, 120, 130, 140. This is going to be our workout. 5 sets. We're going to do 10 sets or 10 reps each. And we're going to progress and go up each rep. All right. So if you look at these numbers and you say, what is the average we lifted in total? The average, we would say, is 120. On average, we were lifting 120 pounds, right? If I told you to do a 6 set 6, what do you think it would be? Well, it would be 150. So here is the comparison. What is the marginal versus effective tax rate? This right here, this is the effective. This right here, this is the marginal. All the effective tax rate says is I want to know on average how much I spent in my taxes and how much on average the effective is. And the marginal says if I were to do one more, what would you charge me? So looking at the ice cream scoops, if I had 3 scoops of ice cream and I wanted to do a little bit more, but stay in the 3 scoops, I would be in that marginal tax bracket. So this is a quick and easy understanding of how marginal and effective works. Why this is important is because people confuse their effective or the average tax rate with what their marginal tax rate is. People confuse and say, "Oh, well, if I make more money, my effective or the average tax rate is going to go up." That is wrong. Your marginal, what you would be charged on the next dollar you make, that is where you are looking if you were to get an end of the year bonus. So that is a big mistake and a misunderstanding. So the objective today was to see the progressive income tax code. Why we are progressive is because the government wants to charge the same on the same amount of money. A lot of different opinions. That is what horse racing is about, different opinions. But as you look at it, you look at the system today. Do you think it's fair? That's up to you. But that is the system that we deal with. And it does change and it has nuances, and there are tons of ways. You look at the United States tax code, 10% is how you get charged, 90%, is how you can avoid it. Vanguard will not let you buy fractional shares. Just saw that message, and you're right. Vanguard is going to have to adapt and update and kind of get, more comfortable with what this new age and the new wave of investors is. We have not had investors in their teens and 20s throughout history. Little fun stat I like to point out is back in the stock market crash 100 years ago of 1929, only 2% of Americans were even in the stock market. So this new wave of people interested, Robinhood is a scary beast, but it's a really neat, cool thing because it's introducing people to investing. Chocolate. All right, there you go. Okay, so we're getting some ice cream soups. Mint chocolate chip's my jam. John Kim, chocolate, I like it. We'll see, chocolate, pistachio. See, Manav, that's what I'm talking about. We need to get a little more creative with it. I like people who have unique flavors. Chocolate panda paws. Charles, that's what's up. Do you know in the 1950s, the highest marginal tax rate was 91% in the United States? Manav, I did know that. Think of that. The highest marginal. So the highest I was going to go make more money. If I made more money, 90% of it, 91% of it was going to be gone. So when people complain about 35, 37%, you kind of got to question and say, hey, historically, you're still doing pretty good. But you do question that. What is the incentive of going up higher if you're going to get into that high of a bracket? That's obviously why we pushed it down. Now they're starting to look at estate taxes and have those kinds of same questions. So great point out. Love the history lesson. That's just good knowledge dropped on you right there. It's going to be crazy when he brings out the whiteboard. Honestly, I'm looking at him in this room. I'm like, I need to get a whiteboard. I can create so much cooler content with a whiteboard. And I just feel like a teacher, in that aspect. So, hey, C. Smith, C. Smith, welcome to the community. Welcome to the movement. Money Vehicle coming at you. Look at all these people joining and then leaving. I don't take it personally. A little bit. It hurts a little bit. Manav, it would allow the rich to pay their fair share. And that is the question going forward, is how much do we want to count on the wealthy, the rich, to pay taxes for society, for the group? And it is, a great book, and you don't have to agree with it, but an interesting perspective is Atlas Shrugged. Honestly, it's right up there. If you guys want to see it, it's a great book. Each year I would choose one, it's 1,000 pages. So I would choose one huge book for a season and read through it. But it's, premise is the idea of, well, what if all the wealthy bounce? What if they stop creating? What if they stop employing? What do we do then? Well, then we have some questions and some issues and things we have to understand. So I love the progressive system. It is more fair. And that's what we're trying to get to, is an understanding of, is it fair? Is this the best way? And capitalism is crazy, money and finances are crazy, but we are trying to get to a system that is going to be fair for more people. And it is fair, but we need to increase the top marginal tax rate. That's a great opinion. So what Manav is saying is, if people make over $1 million or $500,000, they should enter into a higher marginal, only affecting that top ice cream scoop. No many people are getting 8 ice cream scoops, but if you do, that is going to be impacting you. Peter, thanks. Fort forever. Manav, why don't you move to a country that practices what Marx taught them? All right, that's Cheesy Mac. That's coming in hot. Demo accounts and study the charts. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but it needs to be increased for the top 1%. Again, this concept of these top 1% are being taxed tremendously. Again, they're paying all kinds of double FICA, all kinds of business taxes. So they are contributing beyond just their income. So we were talking about day trading. Oh, there you go. Not a huge fan, but if that's your prerogative with percentage of your portfolio. Also thought it was interesting today, Russell Okung, Panthers offensive lineman, been an offensive lineman for a lot of teams, got paid in Bitcoin. I don't know if any of y'all saw that. How do you like investing in Bitcoin right now? Peter, wasn't that timely? Look at that. Problem is they could move. We need something from them. If they move, we get nothing. So Bitcoin is an interesting piece. Why I brought it up was Manav is talking about, the system that we are playing in, other people where we're getting it. What we need to be able to realize is a lot of people do think this system is currently corrupt and crazy and not fair. Russell Okung says why he wanted to get his dollars in Bitcoin is he wants out of the corrupt financial system that is the United States. Do I personally agree with that? No, but I really appreciate his perspective. I appreciate him trying and actually going out and making an attempt. And he partnered with Strike. Great PR move, interesting branding, and really just stepping out and being. And he's always been an outside the box thinker. He's one of those guys who negotiated his own contract type thing. So he got 7.5 or 6.5 million, about half of his $13 million contract paid in Bitcoin. Really interesting phenomenon. My only thing with Bitcoin, super cool, super interesting. At the end of the day, if you can't turn it back into dollars, I don't know what it's going to help you with today or in the next few years. You can fight for what you believe and be a part of a system that is what Marx believed. I love the contract in Bitcoin. Very smart, in my opinion. I mean, yes, for him, it is a diversification. So I think it is smart for him. I think that was an interesting move. I also think just it's it's futuristic. Does it make sense today? No. Can I look at it in in Bitcoin world 2 days or 2 years and be absolutely wrong? Sure. It's just not a game I'm going to jump into. Is it true Rob hasn't spent any of his game day checks? I'm thinking you're talking about Rob Gronkowski. I have heard that. He was very frugal with his mindset. Marshawn Lynch, the same way. Two guys who most people probably would not believe that that's how they handled it. But yeah, they were very frugal and smart with their money. I recommend you watch Inequality for All. Actually, I read one of his books up here somewhere. Saving Capital. Oh, you guys can't see that. Bam. Top one right there. Saving Capitalism. Very interesting thinker. Very smart guy. So, yeah, Robert Reichs. Bledsoe or Minshew? As far as like legendary, I'm going to go with Minshew. As far as player, probably Bledsoe. But yeah, both great Cougs. What's a good contract for Josh Allen's upcoming extension? Man, so here's the game. Like, quarterbacks always think that they have to take every dollar that they can get. I personally, being a part of the rest of the team, don't feel that way. But yeah, I would think it's going to average around that 38 to 42 category. He's young. He's performing. Go get a Super Bowl. Go get an attempt at it. You got a lot of leverage. So I would not be shocked in the like 5-year, 200 million category. That would be a healthy chunk of change, but that's going to be pretty solid. Do I think he's going to get the 50 a year? Like, no. But, man, great content. Oh, booyah. I don't know. I didn't see who that was. He said he's willing to take a hometown discount, though, so we will see. Yeah, everybody says that. User 34353. Appreciate that. So he said he's willing to take a hometown discount. That's good media play. But again, you walk into those rooms and the salary cap is finite. So if I take more, you can't give it to the receiver, the O-lineman, the safety, the D end. So you got to play through that game. Do you want a great team or do you want a great contract? And I think, we're going to get to a point where people are starting to look at and say, I'd rather win than, make all the monies. As a Jets fan, that upsets me, but that's the right move to build a team. Bills fan, I'm hoping he does. Yeah. Jets are hoping to get Josh Allen now. Where's some landing spots you'd like to see Minshew get traded to since Lawrence is taking over? I don't think he's going to get traded. I think Minshew provides a great security. I think we've noticed anything these last couple of years is having a good backup quarterback sadly is worth their weight in gold. So I think he stays, has a good couple years as a backup. Did you play any other positions growing up? First off, basketball is my first love. But I was a linebacker, middle linebacker in high school, and then a receiving tight end in college, and then switched to fullback in the NFL. So I played it all, along with special teams and long snapping. Salary cap will increase in a few years. Quarterback market is definitely going up. It will, and it will. And the reality is, much like America, I always said, the NFL is a microcosm of what our economy is. The 1% get richer and the rest still stay the same. So like in the NFL, 3-4 guys make up half of the salary cap. Maybe 5 or 6 guys make up half the salary cap. Then the other 45 guys make up the other half. So do that comparison, do those numbers. So yes, any chance Fitz leaves in the offseason? I would love to see him as a backup in Buffalo. No, I think he will go somewhere where, again, he has a unproven or a chance to play. He seems like he wants to keep getting out there. So that's I think, where he will be able to end up. Bills Mafia, Meme Central coming in. They had a great show last night. They're peaking at the right time. So as we look, will the Niners keep Jimmy G? Oh, yeah. Jimmy G ain't going anywhere. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Jimmy G's in jeopardy? I don't think he is. Do you have a YouTube channel? I'd love to look at more of the finance stuff you talk about. So Peter J0516. Let me write that down. J0516. We have a course. It's called the Money Vehicle Course. Right now, December dollars. If you answer the question correctly here in about 2 minutes, you can get the course for free. It will walk you through the first 10 questions of your financial journey. Not only that, it'll give you the answers. It'll give you the actions to go take. It's proving to be a very valuable resource. Have people tell me all the time they got to use it in job interviews or put it on their college applications. But yes, my goal for 2021 is to build up the YouTube content. So we'll definitely be on there more and more. What should Eagles do with Carson Wentz? Nothing. You gave him $80 million. You sit on it for a hot minute, see if the kid can heal up and see what he's like next year. Have a competition between him and Jalen in training camp. Too much, Tupac committed. Can't get rid of him. Nobody's going to trade for him and absorb that contract right now. So hope he looks better next year. That's what they can do. That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, Peter, that's what we're doing. Okay, so let's get the question of the day. Let's get a winner. Meme Central. Yup. How did you like Kyle Smith? I'm in chapter 2. I love the course so far. Manav. Let's go. That's the best. I actually woke up to an email this morning. Of a student going through it, about to get to chapter 10, and is just raving about it. And honestly, she was like, I hope this isn't. I'm like, no, this is exactly what, like, I want to make a commercial. So that's the question. It's like, people are like, well, is the course any good? You're giving it away for free. Yeah, I'm giving it away to free for you guys because this is the community. I believe you will all become raving fans and the ambassadors. Also, we're getting contracts from universities. Like, that's the business. That's the scale of this, is like, I don't think I'm ever going to go sell 1 million courses one by one. I think we can go get a contract with, I don't know, the military or college campuses across the country or high school clubs across the country with hundreds of thousands of kids and say, here's the course. That's why I built out a 50-page facilitator guide so teachers can teach. Peter J., he does. Strong. I'm in chapter 2. Love it, man. That just made, honestly, Manav, that made my day. Also, I'm in the course right now. It is excellent. JJ15, I can't wait. This is so good. Do you think teams will be cautious about expending quarterbacks looking at how Goff and Wentz have performed? No. One, you got to go all in on a quarterback you believe, you trust. You cannot win a Super Bowl without a Super Bowl kind of winning quarterback. So they will continue to be prioritized and, respect because they have the leverage. And that's just kind of what it is. I have very basic knowledge on this topic, but definitely want to learn more. You cute. Cash Money, you cute too. Peter J., you are in a prime position to go through the money vehicle course. What college did you play for? There you go, Liam Jones. So that is exactly who we want in. You are part of the community. You're part of the movement now. We are growing daily, which is really, really cool. Not just on TikTok. The TikTok growth has been kind of crazy. But who is that? Super Matt 33. Here we go. Super Matt. All right. Well, let's get a winner here because they get some money. They get some course. They get some good stuff. Always, always, always list your certificates on your CV. Just starting out now. We'll see. Love it. Didn't even think about losing it on a future job application. Thanks, man. So here's an interesting fact. Again, the business of this is incredible. And this passion, this vision I had 10 years ago is coming at arguably the horribly perfect time. So colleges are adopting this and taking it. High schools across America are going to take it and adopt it and run with it. And clubs, all that kind of stuff. The real business of this, though, is going to be corporate America. Once we have enough content, which is going to be level 1 and level 2 will probably come out late next year. We can go into corporate America and say, hey, these are the courses, these are the things you need to give your colleagues to remove the liability. Like, if you are not showing them how to use this stuff, that's on you. And financial stress is the number one thing people are tracking about companies and jobs today. So they are looking, and I know they're looking because I've worked in 401k groups and HRs and all that kind of stuff, and I talk to them. They're looking for this. So if you walk in and tell your HR, oh yeah, by the way, I have a certification of financial literacy, they're going to be happy about it because they know that takes a little bit, not all, but it takes a little bit off. Just saw your hit against Cushing. Nice. Super Matt. Appreciate it. I'm doing a section a day. So Manav, that is the thought. If you can do 10 minutes a day, you will get through the course and you will become financially empowered. That is where we're at. Kyle, taking my time. Love the energy you use in the course. It's great. We try to make it entertaining and we try to make it engaging because it is meant for you guys. If I knew, I'd love to take the course. Ursher. All right, Ursher. You've been here. Sure. I know if you don't bring energy, you don't bring some kind of entertainment, people aren't going to tune back in. You know what I mean? So like you could be Bill Gates, but if it's not something, I'm out. How do I get it? Super Matt, I will shoot you a message. Leave a comment on one of the videos, and we will get you hooked up. All right, let's ask the question. Let's get out of here. Got my book today. Michael Sullivan. Yiddity. Get the Your Money Vehicle. So there's also a book, best-selling Amazon book on Amazon. What's the course? How do I get it? Booyah, booyah, booyah. Here we go. Okay, so questions of the day. How many hours does it take roughly in total? We'll see. It is completely on demand. So it is up to you how long it takes. I've had some students that crush it in 2 weeks. I've had some students, do 10 minutes a day for a month or two. So it's totally up to you. And that's what's cool about it. I would say maybe in all, I don't know. Depends on how fast you are. Maybe 8 to 10 hours total. There's some good content. But again, it's not gonna feel like class. It's not gonna feel like a course. You're learning a topic about money you want to know. We're just taking you through 10 different subjects. So give me an answer to why we use a progressive income tax code. I'd love to ask you a question to solve, but we can't do that on here, obviously. So why is it a progressive income tax code? And we'll see. You jump in the course, bro. It'll be worth your time. Trust me. Boom, 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 boom. Why do we use the progressive income tax code here in America? John Kim, going through the course each and every day, coming in, logging in live. Appreciate. Pays their equal fair share. Higher the tax, the more you pay. Look at that, Mike Merck. Welcome back, bro. Love it. Excellent. People are taxed equally on, let's see, boom, Charles, on making the same amount of money. Charles, so they are taxed equally on the same amount of money. That is key. That is absolutely correct. We need to make sure everyone pays their fair share and the rich pay more. Nah, progressive, it gets higher as you earn more ice cream scoops. You're going to be taxed a little bit extra. Not fully fair for people not making as much, the rich to get taxed at the same rate as the wealthy. We'll see. Very interesting opinion. And yes, that is why we have politics, and that's why we change the code. That I love perspective. The more you make, the more you are taxed. Charles coming in. Perfect. Peter Ofi, it is to make sure everyone is equal, would be unfair for people with low incomes. All right. You should get WSU to teach it. Professor Al Sorensen would be a great teacher to add to his class. So Vashon Koog, good news. And this is for those of you who are like, all right, is this guy legit? I'm an adjunct professor at Washington State. This is a course I teach in the Carson College, the business school. So it is a full-fledged 3-credit course. Again, that has some more homework and projects and assignments, but the content is oddly identical. So yes, we are looking to get the entire student body of Washington State to take this course. Why? Because they need it. It is a class that everybody has said for 30 years. Why don't they teach that in school? Now we are. Really appreciate having the course. Hawkman J, thank you very much. Thank you very much. See, guys, this is the cool part. Again, this is a community. This Mike Merck, my guy coming in. But this is what's so cool about this is you all are going to be the ones that turn around to your friends and say, oh, hey, by the way, you should take this thing because you should know a little bit more about money. Mike Merck, after reading Money Vehicle, y'all need to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Also a great book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, A Simple Path to Wealth. I will teach you to be rich. All good. Ours is probably the most holistic looking. Flat tax rate would hurt the lower income people. Peter, that's a great point. It's a very good point. If the good Lord only asked for 10%, the government shouldn't ask for more than any from anyone. Jamester. Great chime in, Jamester. That was good. I enjoyed that. Cam M. Din. Cam M. Din. The course right now is $100. Why? Because everybody told me to charge $500, and I said I'm not going to charge $500 for a financial literacy course. Hey, you were on a call with the minority students. Where are you? Where'd it go? I just saw it. With the Minority Student Athlete Alliance Group. Yes, I was. And Junior. Yes, I was. We're out. The message is growing. We everywhere. Try it. Gotta go. Thanks again for the live. Peace, Kyle. I'm about to go too. All right. Appreciate. Most people don't have the understanding or discipline to operate a checking and savings account. Nos Mata. That is why chapter 4 is about that discipline and how to use them. So that is what we're doing. Thank you. Same time tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And then we got our last one Thursday to finish December dollars, finish out the Money Vehicle Challenge. See you then. See you between. Enjoy the day. We're still in high school, but what can we do to make sure we know we can about cash money? Aunt Junior. June. 2 R's. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.